What's up, YouTube fans? Today, we're going to take a look at the X-Transbots Locke, or their version of a Masterpiece Scale cup. So this is actually version 2 of this figure. The version 1 had some issues. This was sent to me by Dr. Diecast. Thanks for letting me take a look at your copy. It is an older figure. This came out in 2021, but I never picked it up myself, so he got it on sale and sent it over to me so I could do the review and comparison. But it does look pretty nice. It's a nice looking version. A couple of put the G1 image there so you can take a look. It is pretty much 100% painted. So you've got light blue, dark blue, kind of a teal. You got orange, gunmetal there, white there. Hands, I believe, are unpainted, but everything else is painted. It really does look good. You got a little bit of a darker green here. Little paint chip right there, or scratch right there. But overall, pretty good looking. When I unboxed it, actually it didn't even come in a box, but when I took it out of the package that Dr. Diecast sent it in, these feet are very loose. So he tends to lean forward. Now you can adjust it, but he falls very easily. He's pretty heavy. And I wish these feet would lock into place. Now I got it later because I kind of angled the feet out and sort of get it more planted. But just be aware that right out of the box, it is a little challenging to balance him. Let's go over the articulation. Head is on a rotating swivel, goes up to there, down to there, and rotates around. Pretty good looking head sculpt. And we have some options for that I'll show you later. Rotation at the shoulder. Shoulder lifts up to there. Not a huge fan of how it looks underneath, but it's fine. We have rotation here at the bicep at a cut joint. Double jointed elbow gets you the full bend. There is a elbow piece here. In my opinion, it ends up looking a little funny. I don't love the way it looks, but it's okay. Rotation at the wrist. You have the pointer finger separate, but it's kind of pointless because it's curled. Get it? It's pointless. You do have alternate hands if you want. I'm not really even sure. Maybe it's just because they're smaller. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Those feet love to give way. So here's the two different hands. So you can see. And the fingers on this one are a little bit bigger. I guess for transformation, you need this one, because this one is a little bit bigger. I don't think it looks right. And it's kind of loose, so I don't know. That seems like a strange thing to include, but they did include 2 sets of hands, or a pair of hands. This is one of the issues. These little tabs that hold the hands on, they like to come apart. Continuing down, we have a rotation here at the waist. Ab crunch gets you down to there. I can see this failing over time. There's no ratchet or anything. It's just a hinge. Right now, it's okay. We have hip skirts, front, back, and sides. Legs will kick up to there. A soft ratchet. Back to there. Up to the side. That joint is tight, but it feels funny. I think it's die-cast. I think it's a die-cast piece under here. Actually, I'm not even sure. I think this thigh is die-cast, but this piece might be plastic. Rotation around a universal. You have a single jointed knee, gets you 90 degrees, or a little past 90 degrees. There's a cutout here on the back of the thigh, so you get a little bit extra. Ankle tilt, that way. Not much that way, and then you have a toe tilt up and down here. For the accessories I mentioned, you do get the alternate hands, which I'm not going to bother with. We get his blaster done in this gunmetal color, nicely sculpted. That will fit in the hand. And that looks pretty good. Not the best fit, but it works. We also get his Sharkticon tail mace, or axe, whatever you want to call it. It is very well articulated. It's got ball joints all down the middle. I thought I remember them doing a render of a Sharkticon. So I thought they were going to do one, but I don't know. I haven't seen one pop up for a while now. But it does have the tab on the handles. So you can get this into the hand, and I can hold this. And I think it's a very good looking accessory. I hate the way the hands work, but it does look really nice. All right, we also get some alternate head and face options, but there's the default face. So take a look. It is kind of light on the definition. It does have a sculpted in nose and mouth, but just because of the color, it's harder to see it. But it's a pretty good looking head and face. Now you can pop off the top and the face. I found that initially it was very tight due to the paint. So I recommend you come back here, use a spudger, get in there, and then pop off this top part of the head. It is painted, so you want to be careful with it. Now you can take off this face part. Just pull it off like that. And then we can swap it. This is where his feet get annoying because he likes to fall down as you're doing this. But we get this alternate face with the cigar, which I really like. I think there is with the yelling face. Again, sometimes it's hard to see the definition, but it does look good. There it is with a smiling or laughing face. You also get this alternate head topper, so it's kind of a flat top, if you prefer that. All right, and there it is with the cigar face and the flat top head. And that's a pretty good combo. I'll probably leave that there for now. All right, we also get these two Target Masters done in black plastic. They have metallic blue for the eyes, a little bit of silver paint for the face, or gray, and then a beige paint for the legs. The quality on these is not very good. They just don't stand up very well. And some of the joints are super tight and other joints are super loose. You can see, this is loose, whereas this knee joint is so tight. Feels like you're going to break it to bend it. But this one is actually intended for the Hot Rod figure, the Masterpiece Hot Rod. I actually don't have a Masterpiece Hot Rod. I keep meaning to go get one for the vehicle mode, but this can transform, so we're going to bend here at the waist. We'll bring the legs forward, and there's two tabs on the knees that go into the chest. They don't peg in well at all. They just don't stay, but it's intended to do. Then you can take the arms, and these will rotate, so you have this tab on the inside. That'll just plug in right there very weakly. Fold that down. Same on this one. Oh, and popped off the ball joint. Like I mentioned, these are not good. They're just pretty junky. But rotate this in for the transformation, and that's it. That's your Target Master. Not very good. It doesn't look like a gun, but this supposedly can plug into the engine of Masterpiece Hot Rod. I like the thought of getting a Target Master for Hot Rod because we didn't get one with that one unless you got the version that came with it. So that's a nice thought, but it's very poorly executed. And then we get this guy, which is the Target Master for him. And I didn't go over the articulation, so they're both basically the same. Head rotates on a ball joint. Shoulders rotate on a ball joint, go out to the side on a ball joint. Elbows are on a ball joint, so they rotate around, and you can bend it. You have a ab crunch just due to the transformation. Leg will kick up to here on a ball joint. Those feel really bad. Back to there, out to the side. 90-degree bend at the knee, very, very tight for some reason. Probably the paint. And you have ankle tilts. They're, again, very, very tight, hard to move. And forward and backward. So let's get him transformed as well. Again, fold at the waist. That will expose the handle. We'll bring the legs down. The knees will basically just sit butt up against the chest. They don't plug in. They don't do anything. They just sit there. Open this up, fold this down, and that ends up on the foot, like that. On the bottom here, you're going to take these arms, same thing, you're going to plug them in. You're going to rotate them and plug them in to here. It's a very loose gun mode, but there's your gun mode. It looks kind of dumb. But in theory, you could plug it in the hand. It doesn't fit very well for some reason. They didn't design the handle properly. Yeah, so just basically useless. It doesn't work. So you might as well just leave it in robot mode because it very loosely tabs and it doesn't look good anyways. But there you go for the Target Masters. For size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. So you can see how big it looks in the Masterpiece scale. Fits in nicely. I think it works. And there's a comparison I think people want to see next to the Fans Toys Coot, their version of Cup. And I'm going to be doing a full comparison on these two. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. But definitely they took different animation cells to decide on the coloring and the overall look of them. They're both pretty accurate, but definitely different takes. So we'll talk about them more in the full comparison. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into alt mode. And since this is an older figure and I haven't actually practiced the transformation, I want to be careful with this since it's a relatively difficult and fragile figure. So I'm going to get it transformed off camera and then we'll be right back. All right, there is Locke in vehicle mode. And it doesn't look too bad, but getting here, oh my God, what a nightmare. This thing is problematic. And I guess I understand why they did a version 2. It is, I assume, improved compared to version 1, but still lots of bending of plastic. There's some points where you permanently scratch and damage the paint, like these thighs. I was watching MGo's video, and basically there's no way to avoid it. You have to scratch it up. So unfortunately, that's just the way this transformation. But it does look relatively good. Light blue, you got that green here now on the side of the windows, on the back. You got lights on the inside. I'm not really sure why they painted that, but not the outside. But a nice little light there, but it does look pretty good. You have rubber tires, 2 of them. The front 2 are loose spinning, but the back 2 are a little tight. So it doesn't quite roll. Kind of gets stuck, but it does look good. From the front, there's a little bit of kibble here, down here especially. Can't really hide it. It does look better from the side. You can mount the weapons here, so if you bring in the Target Master, which arguably is pretty ugly, there are pegs on the side. Now this one happens to be missing one of the pegs, so more QC issues, but that will plug in right here. And imagine that one's plugged in too. And now you can display it like this with the gun firing, you know, over his back. The other weapons don't fit anywhere as far as I could tell. They don't attach anywhere. For size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And fits in well with the Masterpiece scale. And for another comparison, there it is with the Fans Toys version of Cup. And same differences here in the colors that they chose. I do prefer the look of this vehicle mode, to be honest, but fits in about the same as the Fans Toys. Again, we're doing a full comparison on these. I don't want to spend too much time here. So final recommendations on the X-Transbots Locke 2.0. This isn't a good figure. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 partial recommendation. Almost gave it a 2. But what it does do right is the robot mode does look really good. It is fully painted. I really like the cigar-based face. These 2 accessories are very well done. I just like how they look, and they just work. But that's about it. That's about all that really works on this. There's way too many problems on this figure. Starting off with these Target Masters are pretty junky. They don't really transform well. They don't hold in the hands well, and they feel cheap and junky. But beyond that, the transformation, the engineering for this figure is very poorly done. The parts that need to slide past other parts, you really just can't avoid it. You have to scrape the plastic or scrape the metal. And I actually watched MGo's video for help on the transformation. I only transformed this once because I was worried about damaging it. And it did sustain some damage, and I figured any more transformations, it's just going to be too much. But on the back of the thighs here, you can see I've got paint scrapes right there and there on both sides. Not as bad as what I saw in MGo's video. His was really banged up. And then down here, I had some parts fall off. So I had this white panel on the inside here, which attaches to the front. That popped right off when I was transforming it back to robot mode. I had this panel right here, which the foot has to slide past. And again, another place where you have to bend plastic. There's no way to do it. And so this little light blue piece popped off. I glued that back on. So I imagine if I keep transforming this, more things are going to happen, more things are going to break. So I feel kind of lucky that no more things broke. I am going to send this back to Dr. Diecast after all, so I don't want it to break anymore. So if you're planning to get this figure and just display it in robot mode and do nothing else with it, you'll probably be happy with it. But if you're going to mess with it, you're going to transform it, I wouldn't recommend this figure. It's just not going to hold up. It's not going to last any amount of play or transformation. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Dr. Diecast for sending this for review. And stay tuned for the comparison with the Fans Toys version of Cup.